Mount Cape Palmer, mountain back to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Pocondre, to educate, elevate, and promote. Yeah, focus on Liberia, for Liberia, Liberia, for Liberia. From Monday to Sunday, it's focused on Liberia. Talk about home affairs, in diaspora, current affairs, reliable information. Education, entertainment, business, sports, advertisement, articulation.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on.
My name is Abina Johnson, and this is Focus on Liberia. Hit it! From Cape Mount to Cape Palmer, mountain back to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Pocondre, to educate, elevate, and promote. Yeah, focus on Liberia, for Liberia, Liberia, for Liberia, from Monday to Sunday, from Monday to Sunday, it's focused on Liberia. Talk about home affairs, in diaspora, current affairs, reliable information. Education, entertainment, business, sports, advertisement, articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. From Monday to Sunday.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of On Point on our mother station, Focus on Liberia's premier intelligentsia, brightest people on television by way of podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here. As you can see me, I'm neatly dressed in my official suit here. I was the father of two twin girls, which just graduated and on their way to college, and obviously at all traditional St. Paul AME Church, we usually serenade our graduates and send them away. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am free as a bat, no more babies. I am now all Liberia. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much for your prayers. I have with me some of our distinct minds in Liberia when it comes to analysis. I can put my team on the line against anybody, from Spoon to how to call the other guys, the closing argument, to anybody who has. I have my team here. If you think you are better than us, call me to a debate, and we'll be ready to take you and we will bring you down. So here we are. Oh Lord, I mean we got everybody.
Thank God, we're missing a guy for a long time. This is back.
We've been missing him for a long time. Oh, and you know what happened to usually? There you go. He coming in. I mean, you gotta do your light, Mr. Kamara. You gotta do your light. We can't see you. I don't even know whether that's you or an importation from Sierra Leone, but you gotta change your light. There you go.
You need to take the hat off.
Take the hat off.
There you go.
I did worse when he did it. Oh, this is shadow.
Didn't your mom tell you not to wear hat under the roof?
That's right. No, listen, man. If you come from different culture, listen, my man. I tell them manipulate your light a little bit. You look like a common jaw. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. We got a full house here today, and I've always said, no disrespect to anybody, but there's no talk show. There's no podcast, including Spoon, that has the intelligentsia, that has the intellect, that has the analyst capable of dissecting the issues with our emotions that we do on this particular platform. Do us a favor, share the show. Send in your comment. I see River said Pro is on here, but we got some great guys. Listen, we have to do something for some of these folks that have been coming here day in and day out. So let me introduce our great guests. There's none, but these are guys who love Liberia. They think Liberia. They thought about Liberia, and somebody fooled us with that, and we know who they are. Think Liberia, love Liberia, build Liberia, but in fact, they think Liberia, crook Liberia, steal Liberia, eat Liberia money. That's why they are doing that. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go with my co-host here. The oldest member of my teammate that Ben will be here, Mr. Jimmy Eastman. How you doing there, sir?
Hey, nice to be here, Mr. Gaiman, and welcome to all my fellow panelists. Looking for a riveting conversation.
Great. Mr. Aliu Kamara, a critic of the past government, and now you see he wearing his cautious yellow T-shirt, scared. Mr. Kamara, welcome to the show.
I long been waiting for that word from Mr. Eastman, riveting. It's been a while since I heard that word, but it's a great thing. Let's say wonderful show, great people. Young Evans Morris is on here. I hope being around his past ego there, he's learning a lot. We got trouble, Mr. Nangwe here. Mr. Nangwe is with me on most of the issue. When you come on point, or you come from somewhere else, say you are a professional person, you got to show that you know something about your profession. If not, stick to the issue, answer in generality, and we'll have no issue. If not, we'll bring it to the point. Right, Mr. Eastman? This is on point.
No,
so how is that related to me?
You are on your own.
The man throwing shot at lawyer from Friday show. He throwing shot at lawyer.
He looking for a partner. He on your own. Mr. Victor Number, welcome to the show. Focus on Liberia political analyst, a friend of mine. We go all the way back. We believe in the same thing from the same political party, same political persuasion. How you doing there, sir?
Hey, listen, it's good to be here. We've been together quite some time now. I think before some of the young panelists here were even born. So yeah, you're good. It's good to know you. And also,
why are you speaking so low, Victor?
Dr. Buddy, welcome back. Am I speaking low?
No, you're fine. We hear you. I think you got to put up your volume.
You always got to have some kind of.
Mr. Kamara, turn your hearing aid to channel 2.
I know, right? I'll go and consult your ENT doctor. But Dr. Buddy, welcome back. Mr. Kamara told us you were in Monrovia for your confirmation preparation. So congratulations.
Dr. Buddy doesn't believe that.
Thank you very much. My homeboy, Mr. Tower, the man from Houston, the oil man. when he talking, they got oil dripping out of his ears, everywhere, his face. They made a Halliburton man. He got money, oil money everywhere. How you doing that, Mr. Towel?
I'm doing very good. I'm glad to be on today, and I look forward to having a great discussion.
Are you a Halliburton man?
No.
Man, that Raytheon, man.
Yeah, he want dictionary to come after. He
The only oil I know about is palm. The only oil I know about is palm oil.
Okay, Mr. Elvis.
You know, talking about Dick Cheney is a game, man. Hang on there for a second if you don't mind. A lot of people Dick Cheney will have left off, but even Ransford and other people have gone, and he's still here with us. Can you imagine that?
No, man, they made that Joseph Bogart had beating a church.
Now look.
He and Joseph Bogart, they are related. They got phone.
Look, let me tell you, today is a nice day here in Minnesota. I'm so happy, but the thing that make me even happier is our Lone Star today won 1-0. They are 3 points off Tunisia for first place in the group, 4 games played for World Cup qualification. So we're keeping our finger crossed for the boys. We had a guy that scored today. I think his name is Sakor.
Today, I didn't know.
Yeah, Sakor scored in the 90th minute. So that was an important victory. They drew their last game 1-1 against Namibia. So the boys are doing pretty well. So I think maybe Madela Cooper is, she's helping them, and the old man is helping them more than President Weah could. But
wasn't bad.
We're rooting for them.
Wait, listen now, that in 5 months they're gonna train a whole nation. We're talking about this thing that been going for the past 10 years. You want to attribute to 5 months? Thank you very much, Mr. Dr. Booty. Welcome back. I know you were. You see, when we talk about elitists in Liberia, Dr. Booty, do you know where he went for vacation? In the French Riviera. Where we only heard the name, we don't even know where that man was. So, Mr. Kamara, you were right there, man. He is not one of us. Go ahead, Dr. Booty.
I did not say that. Never did that.
Did he join Akaras Gray, or what was he doing there?
Oh yeah.
No, France right next door to them, so they can almost walk to France.
That's right. Go ahead, Dr. Booty.
Mr. Morris and I disagree on a lot of things, but I think he came to my rescue there. Yeah, no, France is just across the pond from us. It's just like an hour flight, so it wasn't. Yeah, it was a week away. I needed to go and refresh. Thank you very much, everyone, for welcoming me back. I missed the show. I would say I missed my conversations with Mr. Eastman and Mr. Morris and Mr. Kamara. And also, listening to Mr. Langwe and Mr. Tao, it's been good. I don't know whether Mr. Gonglo will be joining us today, but
he's coming. He's coming.
And obviously, our great host, Mr. Gaiman, I missed all of you guys, so I'm really glad to be back, and thank you for the welcome.
The Quibasa boy, welcome back, Dr. Booty. The Quibasa boy in his bow tie, I like that. And congrats to the children. You did well, man.
Yeah, thank you. The twin girls, finally, I'm done.
Yeah.
The man Easter Sunday suit.
What
happened?
I say Easter Sunday suit, Mr. Gaiman.
Yeah, my twin girls finally graduated, and from the time they were babies, from the mother's womb, the first time they have decided to split up. One is going to Florida State, and one is going to the University of Florida. So,
but they're all still in state. They didn't go.
Yes, they decided their brother went to UMass, Massachusetts, and they don't want to go out of state. So it's a great thing for them to remain in state. Ladies and gentlemen, we got some great topics here.
No, but I got to say something to you, Mr. Gibbon, before you start. Please make sure your questions must be in under 2 minutes, please. Don't sit here and talk for 9 minutes just to ask questions.
Mr.
Listen, Mr. Kamara, I know you're trying to filibuster to kill time so time can fly. No, we're not going to allow you to get all this one. Let me recognize some folks real quick that follow us. Mr. Malison Yadolo, my brother from Nimba, he's working at the Newark International Airport, taking time off to tune in. Thank you very much, Mr. Yadolo. Emmanuel Broad, thank you very much. You always on here. And River Says Pro, very opinionated guys who always give us his opinion. He's on here. Of course, Fix Electronics, whoever you are, I would love to see your face someday. You need to come on here. And I'm looking for my homeboy. There are two guys that if I don't see on here, there I'm not satisfied. Mr. Flomo. Flomo don't come anymore because it's hard defending.
Flomo
Livingstone Flomo. I don't know what happened to him. He said every time he threw in, we are bashing his government. Doesn't matter you don't bash Joe, we are every day. But ladies and gentlemen, we are here, a great show. There's a lot going on in Liberia and it's worth discussing. To the chagrin of a lot of other folks, but this is why we are here. In our chat room, I think somebody posted that all the topics came from the opposition because they feel that we are hard on this particular government. But the retort to that is, who hates something that is good? If this government was good, we'll always be here cheering them on and giving high five and doing backflip. If we are criticizing, we are not criticizing, we are taking this from the newspapers in Liberia, from the people in Liberia, from the regular folk talking, what is affecting the Liberian people? That's what we are here to analyze. So this is how we develop our topic. I want to say a big thank you to Mr. Padmo, who is the producer here. He's been helping doing a lot of stuff behind the scene. So, Doc, let's get going here. The topics today are the scrolling across the
Chiron. It's called Chiron.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, the scrolling text.
So there we go.
The men at BBC. No, born before computer.
If you I would say you hear the pre-Johnson say you're here touching battery all over the place and you want to touch junk.
All right, go to the topic.
Your battery might be fully charged. You battery total and pre-Johnson. Okay, guys, we got so many topics in Liberia, but we decided to narrow it down to three. And the three are the fracas at the LGEA. There is a major issue going on at the LGEA. I think you might have seen the videotape to the point where we looked at it and we say we are talking about folks, armed men. These are guys who have guns. And they are talking about don't bring gun in my office. One is saying, I am a legitimate officer. You cannot stop me from carrying gun anywhere I want to go. And we're hearing someone say, we'll disarm you. And he said, you'll try it. And then you could hear in the fracas, somebody saying, you say you are a military man, how do you allow us to disarm you in no time? This is what we are talking about. It is serious. The president finally got involved. Is there enough? Or should more be done? Is it practical that a superior and two subordinates get into an argument and you suspend the boss in addition to the subordinates? Never seen this before. We delve into that. What happens to Waka war on drugs? Because everything we heard during the Joseph Waka when he was in opposition, it was Kush. Kush is killing our children, and drug will be our #1 priority. Joseph Waka came on with this facade, a big show. Came in, did a fake blood test or drug test, whatever that was.
How many topics that one you still on?
Joseph Waka said he was not on drugs, and drug would be the #1. So this is a drug agency. It's falling apart, and people are about to get killed. And then two, the president returned from another empty trip. He went to South Korea. During the campaign, Joseph Waka said, you don't take men's job and give it to children. He was connected. Everybody around the world knew him, that he would bring in more. And here we are. He came to the United States, nothing. Came from South Korea, nothing. How much did that trip cost us? The estimated trip cost was $1.9 million for zero. We saw Dara Dillon, we saw everybody in first class, drinking whatever it is they were doing there. We saw what happened. And three, an attempt by the Liberian government to bring the motorcyclists up to code, according to their code, hit a snag at the Ministry of Transportation, and they are being accused. The Transportation Ministry has been accused or selling fake insurance policy on the streets. The minister said it wasn't him, it wasn't his agency, but it were people, unscrupulous individuals within the agency that are doing this. So let's get started. I don't want to start with Mr. Kamara here because he's going to cry. Let me start with the diplomat. We're gonna
opposition here.
We're going to ease our way in here. We're going to do it through the diplomatic channel. Mr. Eastman, here we are. The president began this facade of taking blood tests or something. He said drug tests. Put his arm out there and people taking pictures. I'm going to tackle drugs. Drug is enemy number one. Here we are. Talk to me, Mr. Eastman.
Okay.
What is happening here?
Definitely we can see that there is a level of indiscipline in the DEA, and that has to be checked. A leader has to always conduct himself in such a manner that his undermen will respect him. When he loses the respect, that's when you see things like that happen, especially in military and paramilitary organizations. Because by right, if you receive an order from your commanding officer, you obey immediately. When you have the audacity to challenge an order given by your CO, that means you are ready to face court-martial or any other punitive measure. So the suspension of everyone is an indication that even the head of the organization, Kromah, was also at fault, that he did not behave in a way becoming of an officer. So I like the decision, because when we start taking punitive measures against ill conduct, then it will start to rectify people's behavior. One of the issues we're having in Liberia is we do not conform to law, we do not respect the law, and there is a rampant level of corruption going on. And the only way to put that in check is to start issuing punitive measures to let people know that they are not going to get away with it. I think this is a step in the right direction. I think we need to bring somebody new in to head the organization who will conduct themselves more honorably, because that is one organization. As much as they're supposed to be going after drugs, we also know that those guys are arm-toting individuals, and we have to have the discipline required to head such an organization. So yes, it's a great decision.
Well, Dr. Booty, here we are. I have never, in all of my years of management and political experience, have I ever seen the entire organization is dismissed or suspended pending investigation. Usually, even if you want to fire the boss, he should be the last to go. But to fire the boss, suspend the boss with his subordinates, it's unusual, Dr. Booty.
Well, I think I agree with Mr. Eastman in terms of I think something had to be done. I think the president, in my opinion, is right in asking the individuals who were involved in this fracas to be, to kind of step aside, so that an independent investigation can be conducted to understand exactly what happened. Having said that, I'll go back to the point I've always made on this show, right? And I was reflecting on this the other day, and when you look at President Doe, when you look at President Taylor, and you look at President Sirleaf, and you look at President Weah, these are not things that and again, someone might correct me, I observed, or doing those presidents being in charge of the country. And as I've always said on this show, this president clearly doesn't have a grip on the country. And everybody believes that they can do whatever they want to do and get away with it. And when you have too many generals, right, these are the kind of things that happen, right? There is no one, in my opinion, calling the shots, because this president unfortunately doesn't have the spine to lead the country in the way that the country should be led. And this is just one of many instances that we've seen, whether it be Army wives, whether it be people at the Senate sending names back, whether it be people adding names to a list that the president trying to appoint. Until this president can demonstrate some backbone, these things will continue to happen because everybody believes, oh, not just a background, what you do, and, you know, and that is why we're having these kind of issues.
Mr. Kamara,
Yeah.
same question to you with the fracas and the misunderstanding and the total disorganization at the LGA. What does this say and what does it do to the drug war? Because while this is going on, drug dealings are still going on, kids are still being addicted, people are still dying from the drugs.
Yeah, let me just say first of all, I just totally disagree with these two folks. But anyway, to your question, let me tell you, we have the international drug fighting industry or administration, if I may say. Yet drugs can still fly from Colombia to the Middle East and actually land. So drugs will be around. There will be no question about that. Not to go directly into your question here, because I want to stick with the question, because this is not about Joseph Barker, this question is about DEA, so I will stick with it.
Yes.
Yeah. So, look, I think it was wrong on the part of the president to suspend the entire administration of the DEA at the same time. Okay? And what do you do now if you're conducting?
I can't believe in 6 years of being on this show, I agree that Kamara, I agree on one thing. Kamara, you sure you okay?
His light not shining well. That's why.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, go ahead. For him to agree with me today on one thing, go ahead.
That's as always.
Okay, that's the first shot. He disagree with the president. Wow, Kamara.
Yeah.
Small.
No, Kamara. Kamara. He has always. You gotta be fair. He has sometimes criticized the government. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know why he's so dressed as a Jehovah's Witness tonight, but look.
Hey, I got my watchtower here. You gotta make donation. Go ahead.
Look, it was a wrong move, and this is not to say that there's any one person among the three who is an angel who is clean. I've always said that AB he's exhibited the skill of a micromanager. And sometimes you don't do that amongst people who are almost or are your peers in terms of their educational level. The struggle they are having over there is there are three people who have had actually no direct working relationship ever. So they're just too different to come right one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. So the brainstorming stage has kind of lasted for a little long because every administration, you have to brainstorm. And it's I think it's getting old. But the best thing that should have been done administratively, we look at the video, and when you see that video, you know who was the aggressor. It was period. I'm sitting right here. You standing at that door. I tell you, don't come in here. Carry your gun back and don't come in here with your gun. For me, I'm not talking about all the other things, you know, how the man he conducted himself, how he conducted himself. I didn't see that part. And those are the things that the investigation will unveil. And so we were waiting for that investigation or result. What I would do, I'll do you, Kamara. I stepped to the door. I said, you know what? I already had a long day anyway. And I gave him my gun and I'm coming in. I will see you later. I'm gone. We have someone who is above all of us, who is the justice minister. You already came from the justice ministry with a formal complaint. You know you got complaint there. Why you can't wait for that complaint? Or if you want to go back and say, you see what happened? I recorded it because he didn't want to record it. I recorded it, and here is what happened. He didn't do that. He even wanted to physically attack his boss. We saw that. That's what we saw. Any other investigation, that information will come out later. But you should have suspended those two done the investigation with the cooperation with the person in charge, because who are they going to investigate now? What? None of them there. You know, I don't know. Well, they're professionals. That's what they do. But I'm waiting for the outcome of the result before I throw a general blame. But as it stands right now, those two were wrong.
Mr. Kamal, just before I go to Mr. Namwe here, you've been a student of the struggle in Liberia, knowing what happened to Samuel K. Doe when he went to a meeting and they told him to disarm, leave your gun out there, and he went in and he was ambushed. Do you think these were some of the things that may have been running into the minds of these young folks and say, you know what, this guy is telling us to disarm, he in this office, he got his men in there, maybe something is about to go down?
First of all, that story, yeah, it's been my first time hearing that other story, but it's somebody that's answering my kid in the open fire. But here's the thing. Mr. Eastman, it's a total different scenario because they loaded Asamedo in according to your story. Never heard of it. But these guys were out the door. Don't come in at all. They said he said, especially Fatiga, he said I will come in here. And you can't do FFF about it. Yeah, FF. I mean, it was just inappropriate.
Great. Mr. Tao.
Yes, sir.
I know you've been with them for a while. Let's look at it from a security standpoint.
Big trouble coming.
From a managerial standpoint, when we talk about chain of command, this is a guy who says, as the CEO or the boss, I am saying there will be no guns allowed in my office. And the young man is saying, you cannot say this to me because I'm duly sworn in to carry arms and I will carry my arm anywhere. There's nothing you can do about it. Talk to me.
Okay. So first, let clarify something. You mentioned something about Samuel Doe being disarmed. And Kamara is saying that's his first time hear about it. That's true. The guys like my cousin, he was one of the leading person on the side of this with the SATU. They got to the port, because I'm just trying to clarify that before I go to that. Mm-hmm. And then they told them this place is a gun-free zone. You can't bring gun in here. He refused. He was part of the group that refused and they stayed at the gate. That is why he's still living. The other group disarmed. They allowed Doe to only have a pistol. And when they walk in there, they already have Prince then in there, and it was a setup.
No, Prince then came later. Prince then followed them later.
Yeah, they got them in there. They were already in there. So Zikito then got scared that he couldn't come back to the mansion because he was going to get accused and probably killed. So he surrendered to Prince them, and then later on he ran towards Ekoma. Yes, that's how he survived. So I'm coming to that point now. In the first place, it's the place of gun-free zone. That's the first thing we want to understand.
Everybody get that story anyway.
Is it a place where no one's supposed to have gun? Have this always been the rule? Or it's just on that day?
Good question.
So if it is just on that day, then it raises suspicion. I'm not going to go into, if I'm the deputy, I'm not going to walk into a place that is not a gun-free zone, that is restricted, that we have never carried gun. It's a place that will always move up and down with guns. And we are legally allowed to carry a gun in those places, then all of a sudden they want to disarm me, knowing that there is a beef. So it's not about whether he wanted the justice ministry and then he already laid complaint and he came to a meeting. That's something separate. Somebody trying to disarm you and you don't know what they could do to you, and with their men in there. But look, so the president is actually right to suspend both of them, and just like my colleague, they should never come back. I mentioned it here. I don't know the Chroma guy, but they were all just fronting that they were fighting some kind of drug. They were harassing, they were picking up just these kids that are the victims, right? We're not saying they shouldn't get picked up. He picked up what is this guy's name? The oil guy. Musa Ability's son. He placed a call to him. Does he place a call to the other children's father that he always pick up? So I mentioned it here that was a fiasco. They were just trying to score all kinds of political points that Musa Ability is honest. So they should be suspended. They should never come back. But let me point this out. We should stop saying there is no war against drugs in Liberia. Because drugs, what are the reasons for which the youth and people in the country actually get involved in the drugs? That root cause have not even been addressed. You don't just, you go around, you're arresting people. Are you able to arrest everybody? You don't even have the logistics. Not even here in the US that you all will make reference to. So if you take away opportunities, if there is nothing for the kids to do, I go to Liberia. The kids are so idle. If there is an accident somewhere, almost 20,000 young men show up from nowhere because they're not doing anything. They are not being engaged. There is nothing set to absorb them, to be able to create some environment for them where they have a future. So if you can fix those things, the economic aspect of it, so that the kids are not just there because they just want to do drugs. There is nothing to do. A bunch of people, they say go to school. Yeah, they're going to school. I know at least almost 10, 15 people that are sent to school, all the way to Don Bosco and to Motopatin. Pay thousands of dollars for them to graduate, and there is nothing. So it's not just about go to school or they didn't do this. The environment doesn't exist to even help. So let them address that, so there is no war on drugs in Liberia. Let us stop using that term.
Thank you. Mr. Name.
Really, Mr. Gimmick, you gonna skip over me the whole time? Come on, man.
Excuse me. That's what happened when you're young. You must subordinate here. Be careful.
But how is he skipping over him? All of us.
No, the man went out there last night. Yeah, the man close. He job out. Also, he get skipping.
He was already coming to me. All this coming.
He didn't want to hear all that about that. That's why he left.
Let's go to Mr. Morris. I'll come here.
Mr. Morris.
Mr. Gimmick.
Yeah, now let's be for real. Give us your honest opinion on what transpired and the president's reaction to the whole show.
Okay. I will start off by giving a broader perspective, and then I will zero in on the LDA. I'm refrain from criticizing this president, but let me say this. Mr. Boyka is a habitual maker of bad decisions. We saw it with the 300, and some more thousand that was squandered. Saw it with the inauguration that was, botched. We saw it with the Minister of Justice that was recalled. The Minister of Defense that resigned. We saw it with his foreign minister that almost didn't get confirmed. Now there's rumors going around that the president has lost confidence in her and her ability to produce. We've seen it with the situation in Kinjal. We've seen it with the army wives. We've seen it with this whole fiasco with the machine that's supposed to come in. I don't know if this government have made any good decisions. We saw it with the asset recovery team that has been, broken down. So I don't know anything that President Boyka has done in his government has been an ongoing success that has been long lasting. But going down to the LDA, I will say this to Mr. Kamara. I will agree with you on one point. When you say and you make this like a poster child policy point, and you even went there and did a photo op, taking a drug test and everything, letting the Liberian people know that this is very important to you, that you're willing to go the extra mile by taking drug tests to show that you're drug free, and the people around you are also drug free. Your decision to put people in that strategic, to strategically put people in that position to fight drugs should not have been delegated to other people. You put people there who have not worked with each other, like Mr. Kamara said, have no working rapport, and there's distrust between them. And just to correct you also, Mr. Kamara, the guy that was talking, who was saying the F words to Abi Kumar was, Bao Ko. And this is a microcosm of our situation in the country right now, the distrust between certain ethnic groups. Bao Ko is a Crown guy. Of course, Abi Kumar is a Mandingo guy. One of the complaints was that Abi Kumar was bringing well-known former Ulimo Kid fighters in the building, in his office, not officially on the payroll of the LDA, but Abi Kumar said he was personally paying those guys. In my view, that's a violation. You shouldn't be doing that. So there already been mistrust, especially between the number 2 in command, which is Bao Ko, which is the deputy for administration. And there's also been complaints that Abi Kumar has been usurping their functions. The hiring process should be done by the administrator. Abi Kumar was the one bringing people and recruiting people and hiring them through the agency. Operation should be done by the deputy for operation, which is Fadiga. Every Kurma will tell him who to hire, who not to hire, what kind of raid to go on, what kind of raid not to go on. So the reality is, in the office, there was gross insubordination shown by both Baoko and Al Hassan Fadiga. So definitely they were in error. But like Mr. Tao said it, you can't arbitrarily make decisions and telling people not to bring their arm into a government building because the way that they got that arm was through the Justice Ministry. Their background was checked, they were verified, and then they had the license to carry arms. It wasn't from AB Kuma, so he can't revoke that license arbitrarily on a whim. You have to go through the processes to do it, and he didn't do that. So the point here is President Boyka should not have hired Fadiga, who had never worked in a Liberian security agency, in any Liberian security agency in his entire life. This guy is arrogant. He comes with a sense of superiority, even challenging Abu Kurma that he was doing a better job in this country than Abu Kurma. He has more experience and more security bona fide than Abu Kurma has. And you can see that when a person is angry, the true emotions come out. So that tells you that he feels like he's better than AB when it comes to security issues, and he challenged him. So President Boyka should not have listened to AB Kurma, whose wife was the one that recommended, bodyguard to him and pleaded with him to take him, and he took him in such a sensitive position that's supposed to be seriously a serious policy point for the president. And President Boyka just accepted it. He didn't vet the guy properly. Having American qualification does not mean your experience from America is transferred into a different country where things are done differently. President Boyka should be wise enough to understand that. But the biggest thing here before I close is that the distrust between those two guys. Baoko is a well-known guy in the security, apparatus in Liberia. He worked in the police, he worked in other security agencies. He's well-known. But he has a distrust for Abu Kurma, especially when Abu Kurma is bringing, quote-unquote, former Ulimo fighters who are carrying arms in his office, who are not officially working with the LDA. I think that needs to be, investigated. And then Fadiga made some scathing claims that Abu Kurma is working hand in hand with the quote-unquote drug cartels, and that he is part of them and he is protecting them. Which I think, there's some truth to it, but there's also people who have been informants who have known drug dealers as well. Abu Kurma have been working with. So this whole thing is a mess, and I think President Boyka made a wrong decision in hiring these people and not paying more attention to who the individuals were and what their track record was. But I'll leave it there for now.
Mr. Lambert, this it seems to be complex, but when someone hires you at the top of the agency, they expect that you can deal with complex issues. And this is why Liberia hired Joseph Boyka to deal with complex issues, because this is why he says experience brings along with the job. So here we are, we have a major agency that the international community is looking at. In fact, it's so bad, according to Fadiga's letter to the communication to all the embassies, that the international community, especially the U.S. Embassy, said they will not put a dime in that agency anymore, and they have withheld funding. So where do we go? What does this say about the drug fighting policy that Boyka wants to put?
I actually agree with many of the points made by practically all of my previous speakers, believe it or not. I think there's some point in there in each of what is said. But I'll say this: the president made the fight on drugs and corruption, right, two of some of his marquee issues, right? And like Elvis said, he seems to have a penchant for complicating unnecessarily, uncomplicated things, right? So the fight on drugs on corruption, for instance, we all know where the asset recovery and all this stuff, where that has gone, right? And he hasn't really done anything about it in spite of the fights that have become public. So the LDA, almost similar situation, intra-office squabbles. The letter written by the Deputy Director for Operations, and I think the Deputy Director for Administration. First of all, why would they go outside of the normal governmental channels and write a U.S. embassy? For what?
I mean, tell me about it.
For what? I mean, if I were the president, I would have fired him there and then. You know, he's undermining the government. If you have a problem, bring it to the cabinet meeting, wherever it is, and we'll figure it out. So this is happening, and the president doesn't do anything. And then Mr. Kroma, knowing very well that there was already tension brewing at the office, I think he escalated the tension. He provoked these gentlemen. He knew they were all having disagreements. He invited them to the office and proceeds to disarm them. You know, I'm not sure if the code of conduct or whatever the term of reference of at the agency, whether he has the right to disarm his deputies. You know, they're not his. Then you know, he didn't employ them. You know, they're not. He's not their bosses. You know, he is the tip of the arrow. But you know, these people also were hired by the president. They enjoy presidential confidence. He can't just kick them around. So I disagree with Mr. Kamara that the president should not have suspended. I think he should suspend and fire the three of them. And I agree with him on this one to hold off to the firing pending the investigation. And I hope at the end of the investigation, this time, you know, unlike several other investigations before this one, I hope he will take the decisive action that is necessary and remove these people. They are unfit to run the agency. I think they've proven that to all of us. You know, let him bring in people who could be committed to the fight against drugs and not people who are committed to their egos. You know, fighting guy, like I think Elvis said, I think he came to the agency already convinced that he was better qualified than the boss, in spite of the fact that he was recommended by the boss. Can you imagine that? So he comes in there, I think, with a chip on his shoulder already, and we know they've had several spats in office and in public. I don't even know why it took the president so long. But I'm happy that at least they're out of the way. Someone is acting who is the officer in charge. Some Christopher Peters, I don't know him. But I hope, you know, this is an opportunity for the president to chart a new course away from these three gentlemen. So I'm in support of the suspension and hopefully the eventual termination of these three gentlemen. Let them go somewhere else. If they're too qualified, they can find jobs anywhere else. They don't need the LDEA for, you know, for this nonsense that, you know, they brought to the agency. I think they brought the government to disrepute.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome our guest again. We got Mr. Ali Kamara, a supporter of the Joseph White.
Give me 30 seconds, Mr. Goodman.
Yeah, I'm coming to you. And then Mr. Jimmy Eastman from the nation's capital. We got Mr. Tyler in Houston. We have Mr. Elvis Morris from the state of 10,000 Lakes, Minnesota. We got Dr. Booty from London, and then my own brother from the state of Brother-in-Law in our area, the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Trenton, New Jersey area, cover the whole market. Yeah, real quick, Mr. Kamara, you want to retard just before you go there, we get 1 minute here for the particular space. With the advent of what happened with the asset recovery and now the DEA here, are we seeing something here? What's happening to the war on drugs? Go ahead.
I want to focus on the topic in hand.
Yeah, go ahead.
Asset recovery, now one of them. Look, I corrected Mr. Nangwe here, and I try to correct him. I will not worry about Tao. I already know who Tao is. He's one of that blah, 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 blah guys. But let me say this.
What do you mean by that?
No, if feeling is
clarify that. What do you mean by that?
Let me say his feelings are ahead of his logic. That's what I mean by blah blah blah. But this is what I would say to you, Mr. Nangwe. You keep saying that A.B. Kruma invited his deputies to disarm them. When somebody said you got a gun, somebody said don't bring it here. That means the intention is to
he doesn't have the right to say that. He doesn't have the right.
But let me say.
No, he didn't have the right to
Mr. Nangwe, make him 30 seconds. Hey, you gave me 30 seconds, Mr. Given?
Yeah, but you said
but I call another order.
Right now you're saying blah blah. Right now,
call another order.
Yeah, Mr. Number, you gotta get a mention to like.
Yeah. And don't join him any Southeastern solidarity because you're not from the Southeast. Let me say this to you. You don't just manipulate, words to suit your whatever you want to express or whatever you want people to hear. You are at that door. You got your gun on the side. I see you're not coming inside here with your gun. That means I call you to disarm you? No, because I say you're not coming inside here with your gun. Does that mean I'm taking your permit from you to carry a gun or denying your right to carry a gun in the whole building? No, not the building, Mr. Evans Morris. It's my office. Let's assume legally I'm doing it
No,
wrong.
Mr. Kamara, where you get it wrong is they have standing meetings in his office.
Excuse me now.
They have standing meetings in his office,
Go ahead.
and by taking their guns, you are infringing on their rights to carry arms to carry arms in the agency.
Okay, you
can't do that.
You gotta get a mention to land.
Okay, no, but that one he told you know they can say what I'm talking about. You were talking to yourself. But here is what I want you to know, Mr. Gilman. All right, okay, let me just agree with all of the analysis. We plan on a meeting here at 2 o'clock. I always come in the office with my gun at 2 o'clock. Today, Mr. Gilman, you're sitting there. Let's acknowledge the fact that you are my supervisor. Even though I know you're wrong, but you are my supervisor. You say, Aliyu, don't enter this office with a slipper. So that slipper I got on.
No gun.
But
Stay
I came
with
in the
gun.
office before with slipper on. Huh?
Stay with gun. Don't.
So no, I'm just saying something.
Oh, don't change
I've
it.
been coming in here with slippers. I've been coming in here with slippers on, and there are no written rule on the book that I can't come in here with slipper on. But I've been coming here with slipper on, and then today you say, Aliyu, don't come in my office with your slipper on your feet today. Now the first thing I'm thinking about, oh, okay, I reported the man to his boss. Maybe they may get rushed. You know what? I will go. That's what normal people do.
When I saw
you will fight.
No, that's constructive firing. You're constructively firing the person by making things difficult for them. No, you can't do that.
Enter the office, then you say, "Oh, they brought me to disarm me." Does that make a lot of logic to you?
But Mr. Kamara, let me come in a little bit.
That was the longest 30 seconds I ever seen in my life.
Yeah, because you guys coming in.
I think you're reducing the gravity of the situation by referring to the act of slippers. This is a gun. These people meet regularly and they carry guns regularly. They are licensed to carry guns.
You just repeated yourself. I already said all that.
But in this instance, he's told he's forbidden from bringing his gun
into my office. And I'm not discussing the legality of it. I'm not discussing why he was right or wrong.
Give me a chance. Let me land. That is an alarm. If you do something every single day, and all of a sudden today you say that is a reason for.
And the best thing for me to do is to fight you
now. Mr. Kamara, go ahead.
There is something evoking that utterance, and that is a reason for him to be alarmed. What? And if I'm being invited for a meeting, I don't know this meeting if there was, and then you tell me do not bring an arm, but every day we meet, I have to be concerned about that.
And the way to be concerned is to fight.
Just a minute. And this is where leadership comes in. I know you want to defend the man, like countryman or whatever, but this is where I look at it as a leadership. That man could be my brother.
You see why it's so hard to carry out the discussion at the time? Now you
cannot.
I have condemned a lot of my people before.
Listen.
Now you tell me that because my proper man, you know what? I would not make no
Mr. Kamara is an ecumenical abuser. You're abusing your own kids. So I don't think it's because of man.
Mr. Kamara, say when you became Madigo, you told me you were Bassa man the last time. What your problem?
No. So now I can't have a view that is in support of a man because of his tribe, because I'm from that same tribe. I have never supported AB. I said,
Mr. Eastman, I think that was wrong to insert that into it. I don't think it's because of his tribe.
The man are the part thing you like to blame. The man, he's politics. The man, it's a leadership faux pas what he made. He shouldn't have said something like that, and he knew it was going to cause a problem. And that is why I say I question his leadership, and that is why I agree with the president. All of them need to be suspended and investigated because there's lack of leadership in that organization at this point.
Mr. Tawo, real quick.
Yeah, real quick, man. You know, I really feel sorry for Mr. Kamara.
I know.
This guy, something broke.
Okay.
Something really like something snapped.
That's all you coming.
What happened here is that you know what corruption is? Corruption is not just about you stealing money only. Corruption takes different form, and he committing a lot of corruption in favor in the interest of the government against the Liberian people. Corruption is when you try to put the interest of an individual or dysfunctional government above the interest of the country. You try to want to justify, but it cannot be justified.
But Mr. Ask the man, what does dysfunctional government mean? They give instances. The Jerry throwing words around here. How is the government dysfunctional?
Like what we are saying now. You are trying to justify. Yeah, you are trying to justify that A.B. Nkrumah's office is a public space in that building. It don't belong to him. It's a public space. He is in no position for him to disarm anybody or tell anybody that cannot move if he didn't feel safe. He should have canceled the meeting. What is so difficult? This is very simple. You talk to a 2-year-old kid that will understand this stuff. But you trying to defend this stuff so much, you are even
what do you got defend? I am telling you why the issue escalated. If you say don't come to my office and I know you got bad feelings towards me, I don't have to come to your office. That's what I'm saying. It's common sense.
The office is a public space.
Okay, then you post, you said that now everybody's suspended now.
Mr. Kamara?
Yeah, so they're not fit, so they need to go.
Okay, thank you, guys. Let's see, guys. Let's go to we'll come back to that. Let's go to the second part here. Well, I would like to do number 3 before we do number 2, if I may. Mr. Booty, Dr. Booty, there's a major allegation going on at the Ministry of Transport. The Ministry of Transport, just like the asset recovery, came into being with major distraction when they were talking about motorcyclists cannot plow the streets of Monrovia certain times, certain areas. And I have a video here that I wanted to show. The president, the leader of the police department, IG, decided to put up a show of how the helmet, the application of the helmet, the sanitizing of the helmet, how easy it was, and it turned out to be a major fiasco. When the lady tried to put the helmet on her head, the helmet got stuck. She couldn't breathe, and somebody had to help her take it off. It was terrible.
Liberian are just claustrophobic by nature. We're scared of small spaces.
Dr. Booty, and here we are. They decided that before every motorcycle that plow the streets of Liberia, you have to have your code. You have to be up to code. You have to have your registration. You have to have your insurance. And it turned out where that policy came from, the Ministry of Transport. People within the Ministry of Transport are going individually and selling insurance to these folks, and it turned out that after several people complained, it turned out that it was fake and it was getting embarrassing. The minister himself came out and said these people were doing it on their own. A major distraction. Again, another disorganization, distrust, corruption. Dr. Booty.
Thank you, Mr. Gavin. I think this one, I think Mr. Kamara will probably like the response.
Why you say that? That is not fair to me.
Give a preamble. No, but I think, look, you can't. This one I can't put at the feet of the president or the Unity Party led government. Right? I think our country is systemically corrupt. Corruption is from the bottom up. Everybody in that country is corrupt. You go to schools, people are corrupt. You know, that one ain't got nothing to do with government. What these individuals are doing, a bunch of individuals in the ministry who believe that they can take an opportunity to make money for themselves at the detriment of the Liberian people, right? This one, I don't have any way or any evidence of putting this one at President Barker's feet or at the feet of the minister himself. I think there has to be an investigation. I think now that we know that these things are happening, there has to be an independent investigation. The findings have to be made public so that the public can have trust in the ministry that they're doing the right things. And the individuals where we find people guilty of corrupting the process that has been brought into to make it safe for people, for our people to use motorcycles. The people who are corrupting these processes must be prosecuted, right, according to the laws of our country. And if it means that they need to lose their job, they need to lose their job. So for me, I think my position is quite clear. I can't put it at the president's feet. I can't put it at the feet of the minister. The individuals need to be investigated. It has to be public. It has to be done by an independent person. And whatever ramification or punishment that they need to get need to come against them. But yeah, I think it's a shame. Unfortunately, our country, is tough. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and she was telling me some stuff that was going on at the airport, immigration people doing this and all that. Yeah, the country is this one. Yeah, it's been there for years, and they need to try and get on. Ali needs to tell the president that they need to try and hurry up with this fight against corruption so they can start catching
Ali will go tell the
quicker. I man now. It's like you said I hate man. So like, go tell you.
I don't remember the last time I ever saw him.
But you talking about him like you can talk everything. So that why
we don't talk everything.
But yeah, something has to be done. And they need to. Just speaking quickly from something Brother Elvis said, the president has to start making good decisions. Right? He has to start giving us confidence that okay, even though some are ain't trusting, but we got to start trusting him because he's doing things the right way. And this is an opportunity. Investigate, punish the people, put in place the transparent processes that will make sure that these things don't happen again.
Well, Victor, it's a number. Here we are. The reason that we they putting everything at the president's feet comes from the opposition. That's the Unity Party. That was the Unity Party's mantra. Everything that happened in Georgia's administration, whether it was somebody at the janitorial level, it was President Weah. And this is why Joseph Wagner said he was coming in, and the reason the 45-year experience was coming was transparency, accountability, trust, decision-making as a political genius, according to what Kamara was selling. So here we are, Mr. Nambi. We found out that the decision to organize the asset recovery was a complete fiasco, never given thought, it never happened. It has died a natural death. We saw what's going on at LGEA. Then the idea of the president appointing Corruption King Kong, the Alex Tyler younger brother, to be the leader of Ministry of Transport.
The question right now.
Excuse me. Corruption King Kong brother is now running the ministry, and then you see corruption all over the place. How do you get somebody who is inherently corrupt, come from a corrupt family, got a job because of his brother? How do you expect people to trust someone like this when corruption comes along? Then he come back and say, I was not dead, I'm a man and did it. I'm gonna find out which one of them did it, and they're gonna be, and nobody is buying it because he's corrupt. Mr. Nambi, this is a confidence issue, this is a trust issue. This is something that is following the president everywhere. A decision to appoint King Kong.
No, I think that this is another example, again, of the way policies are rolled out in this government. We all knew from the get-go that this is going to be a very difficult lift, very difficult to implement. We all saw how it got off. The announcement was a sweeping announcement, and then it was negotiated and reduced to certain areas. Even then, there were questions about its enforceability. Were there helmets in the country? How were these people going to get a helmet? How were they going to use the helmet? Were you going to supply them the helmets and they pay overtime? Were they afford the helmets? And then on the top of that, they brought in the compulsory insurance. So many things being rolled out at once without a mechanism to monitor, to supervise these implementations. I'm not sure if the insurance that these people bought, was fake. We all know in Liberia, almost every agency has two flag receipts. You know, there is the official receipt. Well, not maybe not every agency, but most agencies. So I believe someone in that ministry has two flag receipts, and they got caught and decided to leave it on the motorcyclist. But I think those but legitimate receipts. I mean, or insurance that was recommended by the Minister of Transport. So of course the question now is, where is this policy? You know, I've seen a lot of videos of people still plying the streets without helmets. I see people are still, plowing the routes just like they were doing before. So again, is this another failed policy? Are they going to tweak it? I have absolutely no idea.
Mr. Eastman.
Yeah.
Here we are. The last time we talk about this, we talk about when you put in policies, is the implementation stage. We talk about you get about 30,000 motorcyclists in the country, according to estimate, and the total police force in the country is, they say, 4,200, including civil servant. I mean, janitors, workers, secretary, and all of that. So you got almost 5-6 times the population of police. Not only in Monrovia, but outside. When you go outside of Monrovia, even doubles. How do you implement something like that without a failure as we're seeing it now?
Okay. If you say you're going to take your child to another town and you have to pass in the bush, you have to go through the jungle where there's heat, intense heat, mosquitoes, all kinds of insects, animals, all kind of wild and vicious animals, leper, you name it. And you do
Well,
not,
Mr. Gay, what you laughing for? I don't know what I've been saying. That's funny how you die laughing at that.
and you do not get yourself prepared.
You got no repellent. You got no repellent.
And you go and then you say, and you expect these things not to happen. Just like Dr. Booty says, the level of, I won't call it corruption, but wrongdoing is all over the administrative, all over the democracy, the bureaucracy we have there. So much duplicity, all kinds of things going on. You have to know. I have registered vehicles in Liberia. I got a couple of vehicles there, and I know what's going on. So you have to know that this was going to happen. You didn't know, okay? If you don't know, if you don't understand how, planning is one thing, execution is another. So we knew these things were occurring in Liberia. So what do you do if you're trying to implement this thing to work? You put in provisions that would not allow it, okay? Or you put everybody on the alert. Say, if you are caught bypassing the system by illegally, by producing false insurance documents, the punishment will be more severe. Again, I'm saying we are human beings just like everybody else in the world, but you have to institute stringent and punitive action that will curtail this behavior. They should have known that would happen, and had they issued a warning that penalties will double, incarceration may ensue if you compromise these laws, then we will have a different thing today. But again, do they know how to implement? That's what's coming in question now. Is there even their planning? Is their planning on target? Is the implementation? And this should be a lesson to them in every endeavor they take. That they should know very well what happens in the country, what is going on in the country, and prevent the corruption of these new policies they're trying to implement.
Mr. Tao, here we are. We are talking about. I think Ellen Johnson Sirleaf made corruption her number one target. At the end of her term, she says it is almost impossible. She says corruption is so systemic. It's in our mosques, it's in our churches, it's in our sororities, it's in our fraternity, it's in every fabric of our society. Joseph Boyka came in and said, Joe, corruption under you is so vast that when I come in, we're going to curtail, we got a medicine, the panacea. We got it. We're going to cut down corruption. Trust me. Like he said about no car will be stuck in the country. I have the solution for corruption. And today, here we are. The corruption. Someone said corruption on a Joe, we are by it, but now on a white guy. Corruption is butt naked walking around Monroe with no shame. Go ahead.
So in the first place, a lot of the problems that we are facing, it's always been there, but I want to believe strongly that it was entrenched and pretty much crystallized under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. See, every problem that we're having way back in 2007, because I follow country, and I was telling people at that time, because people didn't follow a lot of these things, the kind of stuff that was signed from debt forgiveness to mud life to all this stuff. I say, what this lady is putting in place is going to hunt this country for the next 100 years. Nothing can be done. She had a great opportunity for her to actually, because everything collapsed at that time she came in. She had no good intention. It's as if she came in to punish the country because she wanted to be president much earlier. Okay, so I don't even want for her to be mentioned the Ellen. She is the problem. She is the mother behind these problems that we're having. But when it comes to this stuff, right? The government hire people. I'll register a vehicle before in Monrovia, and I went to many government agencies. People don't get paid. You can't fight corruption if you hire people and you expect for them to work, and they don't get paid. I've never heard a senator or representative complain that they didn't get their bonuses, they didn't siphon off money in the name of content development or retreat and none of this stuff. But the people that are the bedrock that's supposed to run the country, they don't get paid, but they go to work every day. What is going to happen? So you can't fight corruption if people are not paid. It's not just a boycott thing, but this is a common stuff. So this is what we have here. You go to the transport ministry. I got in there. The group of people running to me, almost 20 of them, they want to process my document. I said, I have 2 legs and a hand. I'm already here. I'll go in there. I went in there. They started telling me at the door, oh, you're going to 2 weeks from people being here, they can't get the document. And so I submitted my document, but in a way, they dragged the whole thing. Nothing worked because they're not getting paid. So if people don't get paid, you really cannot hold them responsible. If you don't pay somebody and they're working for you, how you going? Where's the moral ground? You lack the morality for you to hold them responsible. It's the same thing. So that is what we are seeing. But insurance should not be processed at the transport ministry in the first place. The insurance companies, they're what? They're private, right? And they're set up. I went to some of them and I got insurance when I was there. How Honor Ellie and Honor We Are, so how they did not merge into the transport ministry? I don't know. And somebody raised a question here, say, Mr. Namwe, that they told the motorcyclists to have a helmet, right? Where was the helmet in the country? Where were they going to get it from? My brother, this is how Liberia run. Somebody in the government decided that they're going to sell helmet. Immediately, that become a policy. Somebody in the country decided that they're going to sell white tire. That become a policy. You see, this is how it runs. So somebody decided they will sell fire extinguisher. I went to Liberia. They harassed everybody, must have only for them to find out. It were people in the government that had the fire extinguisher that they were selling. And that became a policy. These are the problems that we are having. So like Brother Eastman said, people cannot be punished. If the people are not punished, all these investigations don't lead to anything. It's not going to lead to anything. But I just want to make one last point before I close on this.
Okay, go ahead. Hurry
up. We need to point this out. We are responsible for this, and it's on our shoulder. Almost everybody in the government at every high level, from Ellen Johnson Sirleaf to Judge Weah to this present government, including the guys that were fighting inside that NSA, they come from the US here. They're part of the diaspora group. The reason I want to make the point here is because they ran a failed and very corrupt government. They loot the country, and the moment they're out of power, they all flee back into the US. We have that obligation for us to point that out, for us to hold ourselves responsible, and for us to shame them, and if possible, push in this country for people to, you can't go there, loot the place, pay your mortgage, or pay for baby mama and stuff here, and then the moment you lose your job, you run back here. That we are responsible for that, and we have to point that out. We must point that out, and we must cry out loud, because people from the diaspora want to hear on all the platforms. The government need to consider the professionality, and that is not a broad problem. Very professional people go in, but they have no ethics, they have no commitment to that country. They go in only for them to milk the country and loot it. This is what we have seen. All the ministry, all the agencies, all the top people.
We'll get that on a point now.
They're all from here.
Thank you. Mr. Morris, let me start with you on this one. Point number 3 here.
I haven't even got a chance to speak on point number 3.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
I didn't throw that one yet.
Look, Mr. Yeah. This is akin to what we would call insider trading in the United States, right? And I think Mr. Tawe alluded to it, because if you heard that there's going to be a policy that's going to be almost ubiquitous in the country, that's a means to make money. Somebody could set up the insurance company right away because they know it's a requirement for all motorcyclists to have insurance. Somebody could start, selling helmets. Like I think even Mr. Tawa said it also, to start bringing helmets into the country ahead of time, so that you'll be ahead of the curve. So when people start, when the government tells people that you're required to buy helmets when they register their bikes, people start rushing helter skelter looking at where to buy helmets. You're right there. You're gonna make a killing right at the beginning. So like he said, the transport ministry should not be the ones selling insurance or processing insurance. Supposed to have insurance companies, and hopefully this will you'll see this will spur the proliferations of more insurance companies in the country, and that will maybe help to boost the private sector a little bit. But these things are no brainers. Sometimes we think it's harsh on the quote unquote poor people, but in this country, no matter what kind of job you're doing, you can be working at Walmart, you're driving a car, you need insurance, so you have to find a way to be able to pay your car insurance. So if you're driving a bike, you need insurance, because if you hit somebody, I don't know if the insurance is just there to cover the actual motorcycle, or is it liable for for damage to the human beings? Because a lot of these guys kill people. They hit people on the road, cripple them. The bike make an accident, and it's the person who is riding behind them is gravely injured, and sometimes nothing come out of it. So I think this is a good policy. Actually, I think it's a good policy that we need to emulate from the United States and for other civilized countries where, people who are operating vehicles need to have insurance. It's mandatory, it's compulsory that they have insurance. Otherwise, when accidents happen, there will be no way for people to be taken care of. And also punitive damage should be put into place for people who are driving recklessly on their bikes. So for me, I think it's a good policy. But I think, like Mr. Tyler was saying again, people are inherently corrupt because they're underpaid, always looking for the extra low hustle on the side, the $10, $20. If you don't give it to them, they're going to either slow your process, or they're going to find other means to get that $20 or $10 before they go home. So for me,
but Mr. Evan, the point is not that whether the policy is good or the policy is bad. It is the policy itself and the implementation. They said go and get your insurance, but then the ministry itself, based on what we have seen here, is involved in selling the insurance. He didn't deny that the ministry has the policy about the insurance. All right. He is saying those who are selling the insurance on the side are guilty of perjury. That's what they are saying. And you and I, everybody agrees that, yes, if this is a legitimate policy, it shouldn't be through an insurance company that was just established, like you said, just established when Boyka came into being. We got different insurance companies all over the place. It shouldn't matter to the government where you get your insurance from, as long as you get your insurance.
Can I come in now?
Well, yeah, you were asking me a question. Let me finish up, Mr. Kamara. It won't be too long. But let's take the United States, for example, right? In this country, sure, government can have insurance. If you're on Medicare, that's a form of health insurance. If you go to Navy, financial, or you even go, they got insurance company in different branches of the military. that will give you insurance, if you serve in that agency or you serve in that branch of the military. So the government itself can have an insurance company as well as private insurance companies. But the thing is, they can redirect these people to some of these private insurance companies who are credible, who are not going to scam the people and deny their claims and things like that. So I think this is a way to boost the private sector. If the president make this, we always complain about Josh. We are not talking to the country. President Boaga should have talked to the countries on this issue and give them options. We have one or two or three insurance agencies that you can go to that's going to be credible. Go register your bike there. Don't go to the transport ministry. But he's not talking. My first point when I first came in on the last topic, I said it. President Boaga has been making bad decisions, and your bad decision come back to bite him in the rear end. He continues to do that. He's not communicating with the country on his policy and making it clear so the entire country understand its intent. Not doing it. So that's why you see some of these things happening because the president is not leading by example and is not clarifying his policy intent. That would be my point on that topic.
Mr. Kamara, you want
to? Yes, I already got all of the questions, Mr. Gilman. Thank you so much. I will say something. I want you to answer the Kuku.
Nice, You're inside now, so you're getting the
Mr. Ismail talk. I know the guy never relatively where in government before. He's just talking.
Mr. Kamara inside now. But when you drink job, we are talking. You were just talking out of John. Now he inside now.
A system that has been built for the last nearly 200 years. That lot of documents written, beautiful, fine. No government in the history of the country have ever followed those systems, those documents to the letter. Joe Burger can 5 months. Everybody says do that bad leader, do that this, do that that. Do you know how difficult this thing is? But let me just say this.
No.
Look, listen. Joe Burger was in South Korea.
Mr. Kamara.
I'm answering the question now.
1 minute, Mr. Kamara.
No, okay.
No, Mr. Gilman, let me talk.
I won't let you get away with it. We used to say in the CDC government, this thing have not happened since 1847. And you say, oh, no. Now you telling me, now you hear now, Mr. Elvin, listen now.
You're trying to distract me when you're not.
No, Mr. Elvin.
I'm listening.
Mr. Kamara, didn't you hear we used to say, these things have not been put into play, have not been implemented since 1847. Georgia is the first to try to do it. And they said, don't use the word 1847.
I'm not here comparing Georgia with Joe Burger. Let me make my point
now
here.
You say 200 years. Go ahead.
Let me make my point here. Joseph Burger in South Korea, when A.B. Grumman his team were bossing out in Morovia, they found that Joseph Burger caused it. Joseph Burger was in South Korea when they issued the insurance benefit. They said Joseph Burger.
Who are the people and who approved that policy position? Not Joseph Burger.
Yeah. But why would be able to point that? Listen, all y'all see they can be hot. Y'all wait for me now. Okay? There is no evidence anywhere that the Ministry of Transport is selling insurance. None whatsoever. The Ministry of Transport does not sell insurance, Mr. Gilman. And I know you know that. I know what you're doing. You're just playing Nyaga. They do not. Now, before this thing was actually put in place, when the ministry decided that the motorcyclists will follow the laws that are on the book. Now, let me tell you, this law that is being implemented now was not brought up by Joseph Burger or the Unity Party this time. You know, prior to 2005, we didn't have motorcycle transportation in Liberia. So around 2005, 2006, 2007, motorcycle transportation started becoming a thing. So the government decided for public safety's sake, they had to enact some policies so that the motorcyclists can be protected and the pedestrians and the passengers can be protected. That's how that law was written back under Madam Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf administration. They try to hit it a little bit again. Everybody condemn, like Tao, condemn, the ghost stealing, everybody coming with a helmet to sell it. So it kind of slow, it's difficult implementing anything in Liberia when you say guy like Mr. Tao, a Liberian, unless you denounce a citizenship, people like Mr. Tao will continue to make Liberia not to progress. Now, so George Weah attempted this thing again. Mr. Tao then jump on again. George Weah then wants to say helmet. That original. This is not something that just came into the making. So when you look at the Ministry of Transport and you've been registering vehicles to the Ministry of Transport, that nonsense that you see people standing online in the street, that nonsense started doing the LNTGs and the IGNUs. You know that IGNU, LNTG from Pumapa all the way up to Judy Bryan. Those were when we had a lot more unemployed people who had to feed people, so they came over there and hustle. They became appointment other people. Corruption became even more rampant. Some of these things have been in existence for decades. In time to clean it, you will say, "Oh, where I want the people to go? Where I want the people to go? No joy in the country. How do we feed their family?" When the minister came up, let me make this point. The minister came up before he started to enforce this thing, and the police director. These laws are on the book. They've been there before I came. He said, here is the thing. If you ever deal with someone on the street corner, you're not dealing with us. Come into the building. Before you even come to us, you must already have your insurance, proof of insurance. He's made this announcement on several radio stations. The minister goes back to doing other functions because he has a lot of other things to do. You still go to register your car, you start in the corner on the corner of the street. If something goes wrong, you don't just report it.
What do you mean the minister has so many things to do? Is he the one processing the insurance?
But again, like I said, he has other things to do.
Like what?
I just said the ministry does not
engaging in other forms of corruption.
The ministry does not process insurance. The ministry does not sell insurance.
No, Ali, you are correct. But the problem is they are allowing false insurance certificates to be issued permits. And that's what's going on.
These people are saying recommended by the ministry. That's what they're saying.
Listen to what they're saying. Not only,
but you're not protecting me.
No, I'm not protecting you because you corrupt.
Yeah, but listen here. So let me tell you, man. Yeah, this is too simple. Mr. Ismail and his team can make me laugh on here a lot. So I'm working in a ministry that got over 400 employees, and I am conniving with other people and bringing forward something in and pushing it into the system. The minister is responsible for that one now.
Yes.
Yes, you have to make an example of them, reprimand them, fire them.
Yeah, you're winner. There's a ministry law on the floor. You cannot make an example of people if you're not finding guilty yet. You can't wait for the investigation.
You kill somebody right here and you will wait for investigation.
Another point, you still has a right under the law to be yeah,
I mean, you were out here dancing. Joe, we are bringing our 16 billion back. Bring our 16 billion.
If the job too heavy, we understand you're not making it. You're telling.
You got love it. You got Dr. Booty, here we are. These people were saying here, President, we are bringing our 16 billion back. President, we are what they say? Auditor died, you killed them.
President, because they did. Because they did.
Yeah,
because they did.
Yeah,
because they did.
They said, President, we are killed them.
They took our 16 billion.
You see
don't even go there. Don't go there.
The man who just died, Jenna, go out the way, buried the 16 billion.
But listen to this now. President Joseph Boakai just killed a police army guy. He was on duty. And they shot him in the head. Boakai did that. Boakai is selling insurance on his side now. Okay? Boakai, because everything our job we are not nothing. They may
but
have
what are you asking
said,
me question? I make him believe it to even forget.
Kamara never said one day the country, the operation is big. Everybody doing corruption thing. He's not the president directly. Even a president, we are out of the country. He did it. When you talk to Kamara said, but it is on his watch. He is the head. He is the leader. These are people that he brought in. He didn't trust them. He didn't vet them. So he's responsible. Today now he's trying to. There should be a demarcation. He trying to extricate Joseph Boakai from his administrative function.
I know your mission on the show, so get out.
Mr. Kamara, let me come in. I think no, Mr. Gibson, I think you're giving me a second chance because you want me to change the comments I made from, because before, well, I started the discourse on this particular point, and I started by saying that Mr. Kamara would like what I'm about to say. I wouldn't. The country is corrupt, and Mr. Eastman agreed with me when I made the point. The country, every fabric of our society is corrupt. People everywhere are corrupt in our country, and at the end of the day, what needs to happen is that the minister has to conduct an investigation. The individuals who have been abusing the process needs to be prosecuted. Whatever ramification there are, they need to accept and move on. I personally will not put this one on Joseph Boakai's head. It doesn't matter whether you are in Liberia or you are in Seoul, right? Because Mr. Kamara thinks that if the president out of the country, then maybe
that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean.
Let me don't interrupt me, Mr. Kamara. I will not back you. I will not talk about your man. Think about your man if you interrupt him. So
that's not what I mean.
This one I wouldn't put it. I wouldn't put this one on President Boakai's head directly, because at the end of the day, he cannot be all things to Liberians. Right, that's why he has ministers to run different departments or ministries. The Minister of Transport has to take responsibility here. There has to be an independent investigation. The individuals found guilty, like Mr. Eastman said, must be prosecuted, and then we take it from there. But they need to put in place, like Mr. Eastman also said, stringent processes to ensure that nobody else can come here and do the same thing again. You know, we have to learn from the mistakes. This is a mistake. They need to learn from it. The minister have to put better processes in place, make it very transparent so that people can understand what to do, and this thing cannot happen.
Great. Mr. Nambe, we're going to start with you on the yeah, go ahead, Mr. Taiwo.
Real quick. Look at what happened here. Kamara wants to jump around as if he can't speak. The question here is that there is corruption or mismanagement going on at the Ministry of Transport. The minister is responsible. He is the head of that agency. Okay, let's just say somebody within the ministry was selling some fake insurance. Let's just say that's why it is. So they don't have a vetting process because the people brought that insurance and the ministry issued them license plate. So that right there is a lapse. So are you telling me? No.
Let me finish.
So the ministry could not even vet these insurances. So it means anybody can print anything and bring it in. Yeah, we can say it happened 1847, but it's happening now. They came in so that what was wrong in 1847, they can correct it. They're failing. And guess what? If it is happening under this minister that is under the Boakai administration, he is a CEO. He is responsible. It is happening under his wife. When we say he's responsible, it's not that he's there all the time, but guess what? If the ministry work well, the Boakai administration take credit.
Okay, yeah, tell us about what. Let me tell us about the clarify something.
No,
yeah.
You got no 10 seconds because you.
Mr. Kamara, please stop bullying Mr. Tao.
Oh, well, you can do the whole thing. You do to my one. As soon as you give me 10 seconds, everybody come back.
I didn't say anything. You can say everybody.
Mr. Tao, don't say anything. Government is so difficult to defend. Look at
give me 10 seconds. Let me help your brother. Let me help your brother.
Kamara beard and 10 gray, all your hair 10 gray in 5 months.
No, that because almost still on his side. Man, but let me tell you this.
He was still on his side.
Let me tell you this. Mr. Tao, like any ministry, the Ministry of Transportation has a system, software built up. There are people who have access to this software.
Wait now. You ain't paying nothing.
They get 50 generator and 50 LEC that software
Yeah,
depending on.
Mr. Nangwe, you see?
Come on, man.
All of that can't, they will not let me finish though.
Yeah, you gotta know you. They
Let
know
me
you.
No,
let
I beg you. Let me please
let me
please,
learn
Mr.
this thing.
Kamara.
They will build software in
Let me
5 months.
learn, Mr.
You
Gilman.
hold,
I
in
don't hear
5
extension.
months. In 5 months, you can build software that big.
Mr. Gilman, can you
Okay,
allow
there's
this
a
man to
system.
speak?
There's a system over there set up for data entry. There are people responsible for those systems. They have the different keys and passcodes to enter those systems.
Why are Java coming for a power later?
Those people have certain authority to manipulate stuff. That's what the word investigation is there for. And when some of the applications the minister is supposed to do this, the minister, how would the minister know if it doesn't come to his
You are
desk?
filibustering this thing here. You ain't
Okay,
got
all right, go to Mr. Nangwe. You're good with Mr.
I let it why you just give it the middle.
Mr. Nambe, the final topic here. This president opposition used to criticize President Weah. He travels, he go to this place. He said, when I come in, I'm gonna be domesticated. I'm gonna stay home and take care of business because the people, this is where they are suffering. Here we are. The president lied several times. He flew out of the country on a darkness. He went to Ghana. He said somebody gave him private jet. He came back. Nobody knew. What happened to the transparency? Nobody knew. He didn't carry a press secretary. He didn't carry nobody, no media. He just went by himself, came back. He came to the United States. We don't know how many people were on our trip. He said there were 9, but then when we saw that there were so many people in the delegation that key members of the administration were sitting on the floor. On the floor.
In South Korea, I thought that one happened in America. It happened again in South Korea?
No, I'm talking about what's happening. I'm coming to it. I'm saying that
Yeah, but go to the point on the topic when you get up.
Mr. Adio, white guy, please keep quiet.
This about it.
Yeah, he came to the United States. He won't tell anybody how many people were on the trip, how much was spent on the trip, what was the per diem, what was it costing the taxpayer? Nothing. He gone back to South Korea now with a whole jet full of folks. Right. We saw Dara Dillon and everybody else on the plane in first class talking. They're asking how many people were on there. He won't tell you how much was spent. So
yeah, he left your boys in jail over there too. Your citizen boys who ripped together.
The figure was leaked. The figure was leaked from the Ministry of I think they accusing Amara Corner. They are accusing Amara Corner for sneaking and leaking $1.9 million that it cost us to go with nothing to show. What is our return on investment, Mr. Namwe? What is going on here?
First off, let Mr. Kamara know that this government has changed the definition of investigation. When the government says investigation, then it means that's the issue is dead. So,
but I see this investigation used to. It's a different one now.
You should stop telling us to wait for investigation. But listen, shout out to my UPB friend and brother, Ambassador Blama Nelson. I think he did a wonderful job. I saw some of the president's engagements in Korea. It's a situation of taking a horse to the water or whatever we drink or not. There's not much you can do about it. But I saw some of the interviews granted by the government people when they returned. Right. First of all, on this trip, the president press secretary was on the trip. The minister of information was on the trip. And the deputy minister for public affairs or public relations, Anthony Kessley, was on this trip. And yet, they came back with their talking points all up in the air, right? The minister of information said they had reached 6 agreements. The press secretary said they had reached 7 agreements. The president comes out and said we reached no agreement. We went out there. We just went to a summit. We didn't expect anything specific, but we did something about scholarship and all of that. It is the same thing we've been saying over and over: messaging, communication, right? This is the age of technology. One person can sit down and draw up a few bullets and say, gentlemen or ladies, this is what we did. This is what we're going to put out to the public, and email it out and text it out in a matter of seconds. I mean, that was done. So the thing we know about these kind of trips, usually the fruits, are beginning to show way after the trip. So hopefully they did something, and I think they did. They just don't seem to know how to communicate, what they did. And it has become a problem that continues to dog this government. Kudos to the president, although I agree, I think the delegation was unnecessarily large. I know Dillon is a senator on foreign relations, but why did he have to go to the president? What did he do there?
Nothing.
He came by there asking an airport, he said, go, I defer to the president, go to talk to the president. This kind of trip, we know when the lawmakers usually they make this trip on their own. We see here these people gotta go to Vietnam or all over the place. They don't go with the president. But if they go with the president, there is a particular reason. I had hoped that he was going to tell us why he was on the trip. But again, I don't know how much the trip cost. I saw somewhere 1.9 million.
I know why you're on the trip, Mr. Nong.
Okay, then I'll be glad if when you come up, you can tell us. But again, I am holding up my hope, hoping that they did do something good. Because when they were there, the reports that were coming in was that, and the president affirmed this, including the Minister of Information, that the Korean government are looking to expend $24 billion on Africa. Right? I think 10 billion of that, if I'm not mistaken, is already being rolled out. We understand some 50 agreements were either initiated, signed, or will be signed between other African governments. I don't think Liberia is in the mix. So we hope this trip would have been wafted at the end of all of this when they give us their final official report. But that's what I have for now on this trip.
Well, Mr. Anthony Gay, welcome to the show. Usually when you come late in class or anywhere else, you get some kind of penalty effort. Next time you come late, we will not open the door for you because you come in. But anyway, Mr. Gay, here we are.
Other people were here before Mr. Gay. Go to them, then you come to Mr. Gay.
Okay, Mr. Gay. Since you were here before Mr. Kamara, he tried to filibuster here. So here, Mr. Nambe is saying, at least they should have developed something to tell the people if they did anything. But they came, they had nothing. The question here is, the president was right. If they did absolutely nothing, there should be nothing to report. And the president made it clear. We signed no agreement. We didn't do anything. We just went there. We are observer. $1.9 million reported spent on this trip. And they came back, knew it. They got their per diem. They got everything they wanted. And zero. The Liberian people got zero return on their investment if it were actually investment. Mr. Gay, your take.
They signed 7 MOUs, and those MOU for investors to come to Liberia with the potential that they may find it interesting to invest in Liberia, scholarship talks and all of the different things. Look, when you look in the United States, across the United States, the federal government gave these colleges and universities subsidy for foreign student exchange. If the Liberian government is serious, they can tap into that. They can get up to 5,000 or 10,000 Liberians across the United States here every year for those kind of things. So they can kind of lecture all about South Korea talking about scholarship potential and all of the different things. We saw Kenya, no, not Kenya, Rwanda made a pitch wherein their pitch was to their pitch targeted $150 million, but the walk away was more than that because they introduced something about technology hub, and the presentation was so brilliant during the investment forum, and so they walk away with a pretty decent amount, over $250 million for that project. Kenya also walked away with $485 million. The total money that they have over there was close to $25 billion that was spread around. our presentation was not captivating, was not, moving in a direction that could allow investors. In mind you, more investors.
Okay. Pass the mic to somebody else. I didn't go now.
I wanna re-emphasize what
Mr. Kamal.
Mr. Eastman. Mr. Eastman, come to my brother area. Look at he's stealing current. He ain't got no light.
I like what Gabe was on just now. There were opportunities, but we are squandering because this administration is not prepared to present themselves in a way that they will gain. The better man they should have taken to that was the man from Bapalu, Amara Conan. That's who they should have carried over there. But until they learn, they're gonna be a lot of mistakes. Until they learn that there is a degree of requisite competence that is needed to make these agreements, to present these points, to drum up the business case, to present it, until they realize that they have to have a certain degree of competent people, individuals with the charisma necessary, they're gonna always be like this. You can't go carry all those some of those presentations they make that not even a college graduate it can be proud of, or undergrad. They don't have the practice. They don't. This is not something they've been doing for a long time. This is something new. Get the people who have been doing this, who understand it. You can't get them. Hire them from abroad, okay? But we will see more of this until they learn the lesson that they have to have competence amongst their ranks. Or if they're not going to do that, they're going to continue to see failures.
Chief, Mr. Dr. Booty.
I know you're coming to me. We got one tear this soon.
Can you go to can you go to Mr. Morris so they can tell us why Dylan was on this trip before I respond?
Mr. Morris, go ahead.
Yeah, I heard that Dylan was there to hold a lantern for the old man because he didn't light. So I don't know why you were on the trip. But no, seriously, look, Mr. Gavin, let me tell you this.
Mr. Gavin, come out to me and beg you.
If you thought I was really serious to tell you, you jammed me. Who's that? Let me tell you, Mr. Gavin, look.
I thought it was something serious.
Dylan really still call himself the light?
No, he's a Chinese light. He was looking for the Korean light. Look, let me say this. One of the things that many people got fooled on was Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. I don't even know if this makes sense, but yesterday I put in my head just now. If somebody eat rice and they fart on you and you smell a fart, does that mean you know what it is? Joseph Boakai was just somebody that was a part of Ellen government but was not integral to a government. And I say that with all due respect to him. Because the extensive recruitment that Ellen Johnson Sirleaf made in her government that made her government seem as successful. Going all across the globe, bringing young talents from these United States, finding young talents within Liberia, the like of Clarence Moneba, who I think Joseph Boakai could have utilized. That guy did a lot of things for the Ellen government. He did a lot of negotiation, brought a lot of things to that country, and he has the expertise, he has the negotiation skills, and he has the connection. And I think Joseph Boakai sidelining him was a mistake. You have the likes of what a guy named, I think his name is Elias Shoyinkan, the former Minister of Presidential Affairs, our portfolio, who was also very instrumental in the Ellen government. When people think about Ellen government, they also associate Joseph Boakai with it. But the reality is, Ellen had a lot more qualified people, experienced, and well-connected people who could get the job done. Let me just tell us this, in case we don't know, but I'm sure everybody on this platform knows. Liberia is not respected internationally. And the thing that helped Ellen Johnson is that she was respected internationally. Not that Liberia was respected. She was respected. And if we're being honest with our current president, is Joseph Boakai respected internationally? I don't think so. So if we expect him to go to these conferences and bring any tangible back, we're deluding ourselves. The reality is our country is a laughing stock. We haven't shown any improvement since Ellen Johnson left Liberia when we were giving out all those millions and billions of dollars. The people haven't seen any return on those investments. that they can come back into the country and lock hands with us and say this is a success story. We spend our money well in this country and they're doing well. We have never done that. So the reality is they don't have any interest in our country. They don't have any strategic interest within our country. The only thing they will probably give us is a few scholarships. So those boys that beyond the Delons, the Younglies, or those girls that behind them can go to South Korea and go to school. These are what this is the kind of thing we're going to get from it. A couple of scholarships. Nothing tangible that's going to build anything from it. So the reality is President Boyka lacks the connection. Came to the United States, had nothing to show for going back home. Went to Korea.
Good job.
Zero.
Go ahead, buddy.
The reality is President Boyka will continue to see similar situation, and that's why the rumors within the camp is that he wants to get rid of the foreign minister because he's disappointed with her, and they kind of play that he thought she was going to give him internationally. She's not giving him that kind of play, and he's very much disappointed with her. But I'm disappointed with him because we thought he was the one that was going to be leading the foreign policy because he was former vice president. He had all these connections. He doesn't, and we're seeing the embarrassment continuously happening to him when he get on the international scene. I'll leave it there.
Are you suggesting that they should go back to Henry Costa, Mr. Morris?
We got, definitely.
Henry Costa for what? Henry Costa, somebody. I'm talking about the likes of Clarence Moneba and Shoyankin and people who could get things done. Not people like Sarah Bessler Yanti who worked at the UN and was never an international person in terms of diplomacy. Come on.
We got 10 minutes here. We're going to go around the table with your last statement and your closing.
Let me come in quickly, Mr.
But we ain't talk on the issue here. It's the last statement.
Let's
when you
go.
spend 1 hour asking one question again,
you want to filibuster? We're not here for that. Your take. Dr. Booty, don't let the man filibuster your time. Go ahead.
First of all, Mr. Morris, I didn't realize that you had such humor, right? That's the first time you made everybody laugh in a group like that. So
I'm very funny.
That was really good. Trust me, I didn't expect that. I expected something very serious. Look, but I think I agree that the number of people that the president took on the trip wasn't warranted. I also agree that this was a missed opportunity. I think our brother Anthony Gay was talking about that, and Mr. Eastman touched on it as well. This was a missed opportunity, right? We didn't need somebody there to be holding land. People get caught in Korea, But I think the president took with him. There's this guy from Nimba County, I think Tai Wongwi, who is the founder of an advocacy group called I think it's called Kana Group. So he has some background in terms of advocacy, understanding development work, and things like that. Again, the main point I want to make is this same president went to Guinea-Bissau. We ain't here what he went to doing Guinea-Bissau, what he brought to Guinea-Bissau. That other one was here last time. The last time we were here 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. And the one we're talking about up to now, he tell what come from Guinea-Bissau. And it's a shame that he doesn't know what he's doing. I keep going back to the point that this president is a selfish person. He should not have ran to be president of Liberia. He ran to be president simply because he wanted his name there as president. And basically he has no clue, no plan, no direction for the country. That is why you see everybody is willing to test him because they know he can't do anything. People are testing him, everybody willing to test him because he doesn't show any leadership. And like Mr. Morris said, the fact that he was with President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and people thought, sometimes, when the shadow on you, they just see that you're looking fine, but when the shadow
they're making good strong points right now. Don't interrupt him.
Ellen and more shadow from in front of him. We not see the Joseph Boyka now. Enough fun.
You only smell the person when you eat the food.
Wait to Ellen this and that. Yeah.
I rest my case, Mr. Kim. I rest my case.
Mr. Eastman,
talking. You are gonna be.
You do everything to avoid you, Mr. Kamara. You do everything to avoid you.
The people are telling you, say, why didn't get you job yet? Because the way
I'm not interested.
Okay, let me,
Like, why the man getting paid? You better wait till your job maker.
Mr. Eastman, I forgot. As a co-host, you got to close her out. So let Kamara go first so everybody can
Okay,
jump in.
go
Mr.
ahead.
Kamara, go your closing
I'm
statement.
not spoken.
Why you got to do a closing statement?
We coming to you see, we're talking
Okay, let me.
about
No problem. No problem. No problem. If that's how you want treatment, no problem. But here is the thing I want us to understand, folks.
You are an orphan here.
Yeah, I understand that. Here's the thing I want us to understand. You see the talking thing here is a gift. It will give it to us freely, very freely. Sometimes I think we got to try to manage it. Because sometimes the Omega he gave you something freely. But just because you got it freely doesn't mean he didn't want to give it to you. So let's use it properly. People bringing Rwanda president, bringing Kenya president, and comparing him with Joe Biden. Rwanda president been president for almost 30 years, the work he has done. The country you got Kenya systematically from government after government, they've been billing. In fact, there are parts of Kenya where you go, you think you're in Europe. Yet, for a country like Liberia who has been failing since 1980, so to speak, then when you come here, you say Kenya got this, Liberia didn't get this. How is that fair? How can you go to do a work you do about far better than what I have done, and then when the time comes for reward, you expect that I should get more than you? So let us look at it in let's be a little bit objective here. When Ellen Johnson government was moving fine, let's go there. Since Ebola, Ellen Johnson collapsed, she did not recover. George Weah didn't help. We had lots of problems with the international community. Joseph Boakai came 5 months. Joseph Boakai did not lead up. Joseph Boakai got no leadership. Amen. Come on now. That's not how these things work. The international community cannot pay you money based on 5 months of being in office.
30 seconds.
So why you go do that? If they get paid money, why you go do that?
Yeah. Let me tell you. The international can give you money compared to other countries.
They get you nothing. Zero. That's zero.
Yeah. And you see what's going on now?
Mr. Kamara, when did you know this?
But why are you giving chance to learn?
I just need 10 seconds.
President Weah went to France. I got 10 million.
Let me learn.
I just need 10 seconds.
Let me learn.
Mr. Kamara this. Before
I can learn?
No, you can't learn.
Go ahead, Victor.
Look, before these kinds of trips happen, right? There's a lot of back channel that happens. Before the president gets to the trip, it's almost concluded what has to be done. So you can't tell me the president, he must have known before leaving even Liberia to go.
Can I learn now?
More than that, these trips, the arrangement for these trips started months and months ago. So when you get out and finally go to a trip, you're just going for the ceremonial conclusion of the back channel discussion. So don't say and tell us.
Okay, let me learn now.
No, I think you've been disingenuous to us.
Oh, so back channel, no back channel. You and myself sitting down here. We don't know whether there was a back channel or not.
No back channel.
It has to be.
That is a back channel.
Back channel, no back channel. You don't know that.
Back channel that go English.
Here is what we need to.
Back channel that go English.
Yeah. They want to have a close here. I can guarantee you. So
you're not going to filibuster. You got 10 seconds. Go ahead.
It's not going to be even Tower Bell way off my business. This is strange. I mean, mad. Look at how it's
I'm going to
Taiwan next. I'm going to Taiwan next. See whether you get it back.
Mr. Kamara talking things that don't matter.
Listen.
But again, let me learn.
Go ahead, Philip. Go ahead. Because Taiwan coming after you. We'll see whether he agree with you. Go ahead.
but what I'm saying to you guys is sometimes apples and oranges. Not even sometimes, all the time, it's not a good comparison. It is not the same. So what we need to be focusing on now are the real issues as opposed to just criticizing because it is our duty to criticize. Let us do some critical analysis and not just criticize on the show sometimes. Joe Biden will not get the money that the Kenyan president will get, not even in the next 2 years.
But he
Because
needs to
a
get
lot of
something.
things. See, the thing is, the international community have to see a lot of things being put in place, not just the documentation that you have. Right now, what they're doing is they're
So not
suffering.
getting 1 million there?
Right now, what?
So
Right,
why spend 2 million to go there just so you can get zero? That's the question.
Yeah. Right now, what they're doing now, what you
At least if you spend 1.9 million, at least bring 2
let me
million back.
I will beat it to
you
him.
didn't-
I'll beat
you
it to
didn't-
him.
I think will suffer.
Slip around.
Hey, but talk for me now. How you just say nothing? This
No, that was you talk back.
He don't buy what about this.
all right, Tao, go ahead.
Yeah.
They put that on the line. Tao, go ahead.
Mr.
Yeah.
Tower, you see why Eric Johnson parked their car? Because their car was not, it was useless. Go
Let
ahead.
Tao talk now. Hey, you want Tao
So
to
look at
talk?
what happened here. We don't come here to just criticize. As for me, from the very first day I came on this platform in December, I don't belong to no party. I'm not loyal to any individual. My interest is to see a government that will work for the country, for the good of the country. When people see on this platform that Bwaka is not a good leader, we are looking at 5 months. Everything is misstep. One fiasco after the other. The president, y'all keep mentioning transparency, and this
They're talking about a trip to South Africa, to South Korea.
My man, stop.
it doesn't exist. I'm coming to it. It doesn't exist because the president is not transparent. He has not declared his asset. He refused to ask anybody. Every investigation, nothing happened. Okay, so going to South Korea, just like my brother or Mr. Nangwe said, about maybe a year or even 2 in advance before these conferences and these things take place, everything has been worked out. Liberia know what they're getting. They know what the agreements are, and they're only showing up for just the photo shoot. And those things are already signed. So if you knew that you're not going to get anything, why are you going there? Why are you going? So the Kenya president, Sierra Leone, they had those things crafted long time ago. So they show up, and it was just a photo shoot to now consummate the whole thing, right? So, but I want to come to a point. If Mr. Walker government spent 1.9 million just on Korea, then he has traveled to Ivory Coast, he has traveled to Guinea-Bissau, he has traveled to Ghana, he traveled to the U.S. Kamara said Bwaka want a small government that he reduced foreign travel. He only had 300,000. That is all he put in there for the whole year for foreign travel. You see, you try to come up with these things. Stop trying to defend this government to the detriment of your own character. Because this thing right here is being watched all over the world. We know that there are things that happen, right? We know that there are things that happen in the country like this. You made a good point, Kamara, that what's happening here is that nobody's going to look at Liberia and really come. Because Liberia, in order for industries and people to come, you must have power. You must have the infrastructure. All these things are missing. So the only kind of people that you actually get here and there are people that will just come and extract, like some Wologisi and Putu. That's all that is left in our country for the people to come and snatch up. So if you can at least make reference, but start trying to justify it to where it's so convoluted when you're trapping yourself. If there is a mistake there, just point it out. Look, this area right here, they didn't do well. Nobody's going to do anything but start trying to defend these things and trying to explain their way. The government is wasting
But I'm a row here, my brother. All I get on the seaside. That will be boring here.
They wanted Pradam. They wanted Pradam. They share money. That is all that it did. All these trips, they're just sharing money because you're coming to the U.S. What are you coming for? You are bringing people. I heard you on one of the platforms that I was not on. I was listening that the people that came, that the government didn't pay for them. They pay for themselves. In the U.S. trip, 3 of them are already here. This one, you just trying to explain it all away. Let us stop this. Let us be serious about our country. Look, as we are sitting here talking, people are dying. People are struggling in our country. If there is anything, let us come together. If there is a wrong, let us point out, no matter who the person is. And I observe something on this platform and many of the platforms here. The moment I know somebody in the government and they have a misstep, even I start defending them, I start trying to justify, it would be best for me to say, you know what? I know this person. I don't have enough information. I'll plead the fifth. I will sit out on this. You guys go ahead. All of this stuff, these are all aspects of corruption. So we can't just be blaming the guys in there. Let us try to take the things about our country serious. Let us not try to commit to individuals or to some specific government guys. The country is dying.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Evans Murray, you're closing.
Look, I think it was a good show. In all seriousness, I've tried to refrain from criticizing this president when it's not, warranted. But I think he needs to pick up the pace. He needs to reshuffle, actually. It might seem like it's too early, but he needs people that can get the job done. He needs more go-getters. He needs people who have a proven track record. And I keep saying it. Clarence Monenberg got things done under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. He really did. He's a very, very smart guy. They have a long-standing relationship. And I think he needs to recruit him. He needs to find other guys who are in the Ellen government and recruit them. And expand his recruitment efforts into other parts of the world. If he has to bring people from the diaspora, bring them. Not just people who are sycophants or campaign people on these different platforms. Bring people who can get the job done. If you want to emulate Ellen, you got to go by her playbook and try to take some of the same steps that she took to get some of the early successes that she had in her government. But overall, I don't think the president had the respect on the international stage. I don't think his foreign minister is doing him any favors. So he needs to reshuffle, recalibrate his foreign policy, and he needs to come back to Liberia and start being more visible and more loud so that people can hear him and know what his plans are for the country and be a leader that we all thought he was going to be after he got elected. That would be my closing, and shout out to the Lone Star again for winning the Mail Pride today. And we're happy to see that.
Thank you. Mr. Gay, I know you've been having some technical. How is it possible that a guy who are into IT, they got problem with being on this?
No, the main boss will come and say you have to jump up real quick. What they put
When you say Boga, point him now, you play Boga. All the people you get on the show.
Welcome, yeah, my CPP brother. Don't mind him.
First of all, where I'm at, I ain't supposed to use my phone. Okay, that's the reason why. I'm in a place that. Because it's my break. That's the reason why.
The boss say, "I'm gonna zo." I already told you what happened.
Do your
so I'm using my break, and in the area where I am, cell phone service is suppressed yet. Yeah, so yeah. But listen, here's the thing. They have Amara Corner. They took Dillon. Dillon light can only color red at RIA. By the time he get on the plane, RIA Dillon light go up.
No more light.
No more light. He has no international presence. Period. You can't take that man on that trip. Because here's the thing. People tell me, oh, that's something. Those of you that are in the United States, you watch that show, they call Shark Tank, right? Shark Tank is where business people go to do that business pitch for investors to invest into that business with 10%, with 20%, or 30%. Nobody goes down there to say, oh, I just go in there so I can, showcase maybe they will call me back again. No, they all go there with an expectation to get something. And some people can actually get something back. Many of them, in the first 5 minutes of that presentation, they can get it, come out, and put them all right there. So, before you go to a summit, it's like you go into an award show, the Academy Award or the Oscar Award. You already know where you stand. You don't just show up as an artist and hoping that somebody's going to nominate you. You receive a letter that you have been nominated, and you go there with a hope that you're going to win. But even if you win, your nomination is big. Liberia didn't have none of that. All these people don't want that just to go for ceremonial part of it, to get our money and do the ceremonial part of it and enjoy and take photos, just as Mr. Tawo said. But again, you cannot just take our taxpayer dollar and spend it because it says summit, so you go for summit. Then you came back with 7 MOUs. 7 MOUs for what?
The main page would have given you money to post it in one.
You understand? So why America have a farm Americana also work in the international space. Americana has a presence. Americana understand the lingo, right? When you're presenting, you got to use the terminology that people understand in the business world. You can, what if Delon gonna present on it? No disrespect to Delon, but let's just be frank. What was the purpose of having Delon on that trip? So that is the thing we keep telling the Liberian people. You can't put a square peg in a round hole. You cannot do that. We saw our press secretary using a personal phone to record the event. When we have LBS and none of the LBS people travel with the president. Why do we have LBS? But when I went on BBC and focused on Africa and watched the thing, you can see the Kenyan president, by the time he came out, the Kenya media crew came up. They were not using cell phone to record things. Just stop this kind of thing. The way you carry yourself out there, how are people going to respect you?
You can't kill Charles Beyond, you retire Charles Kudowa, you retire the people who do the job. Then you go bring Spoon FM, then you say you expect something better.
Yeah, but hold on, let me do my closing now.
I think come back that point, but you want to filibuster.
But I will bring Spoon FM, and I just bug out in bed with Spoon FM.
Correct. So that's the thing, right? When people see you operate, our people sitting on the floor the other time, right? Sitting on the floor. Look, let me tell you something. Becoming a president is not something that anybody has an experience of. But Joseph Yuma Walker had an opportunity to be down there right next to Ellen for 12 years. He did not tap into Ellen network. Some of the people that I'm not going to meet today are Ellen network. He tapped into that. When you were somebody, you got to tap into that person's network so that when the person is no longer in the picture, you exploit those networks to help yourself. Networking is very important.
I got to wait in my phone, bro.
Yeah, the man he smelled the soup, but he low in the pot.
You close.
So, ladies and gentlemen, great show. I've been very busy here today, so that's the reason why I'm in and out. But yeah, next Sunday I'll be off, and we will have a good time.
Great, thank you, Dr. Booty.
Yeah, I think
Booty must have spoke.
No, I haven't spoken yet.
He has not closed. You close. He never closed.
Okay, so I'm closing.
After me, them is a new closing.
Kamara, you gotta leave. You close.
So, no.
You want me out.
Kamara,
I don't want to put saying your Gary.
Okay, Dr. Booty, Kamara, go ahead and close because I wanted to be.
Thank you very much. Listen to me.
I thought I was closing.
No, you come after him.
Okay. Joseph Boga did not go to South Korea because he saw people go to South Korea. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Joseph Boga got invitation to go to South Korea. It's called networking. He had to be there. He had to be there to sell his land, to sell his country to the people. Just because. Just be careful. AC had to get you.
Kamara.
Yes.
Joseph Boyka said he was a good salesman. He said,
let me do my
he said, I had a skinny goat. I get a goat saw. The goat ate too much.
All right, let me close down.
And man bought a goat.
Let me close. Okay? Before the international community call even a group of people, in fact, we should not be doing this anyway. Bunch of African president just run to go sit down in South Korea. I don't think we should be doing, but just for the benefit of the conversation we are having here. Before those people even call you, they send you a letter. The decision as to who they already feeling looking at is already made. Okay? There are countries in Africa that are doing pretty well in so many areas. Electricity, police and security. Right now, as we speak, Kenya is going for peacekeeping mission all the way across the ocean to Haiti. They're going to be responsible for that.
That's a big topic. Don't even use it.
You honor? Yeah, well, you probably
go ahead, Mr.
Yeah. That's too bad you social media. But let me tell you this.
Go ahead, Pro. You got.
Let me tell you this. So these people have earned their stripes. Let's be honest. We have to earn our stripes. Joseph can only work with what he has. The same people who are with Ellie, what you call up to between 12 and 16 billion dollars into foreign direct investment in Liberia. That was a projection, by the way. It didn't mean anybody give her money. When she did that, the same people that were with her are the same people in this government. What I would admonish you guys to do, let us do that. Let us continue to have this discussion because that's what we should do. However, let us be realistic that after 6 years of administrative turmoil, a guy cannot just come because he's been in government 100 years and turn it around in under 6 months. Amen. It doesn't work that way. Thank you.
Dr. Booty?
I like the fact that Mr. Kamara made some points in terms of President Barker bringing back people from the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf government. So basically, you're highlighting the fact that things that didn't work before are the same things that your man bringing back to say that it will work the second time.
No, that's what I said.
If it didn't work before, why would it work now? You know, if it didn't work during Ellen Sirleaf government, why would it work now? So it tells you more about the man. Look, my closing is basic and simple. This president either has to do the right thing and step aside, right, for the good of the country, or he needs to learn how to become a better leader, right? He needs to learn how to become a better leader because right now he's making so many mistakes. And I'm glad that Mr. Tao pointed out the fact that we're sitting here, all of us, we're in comfortable environments, right? It's not because we are horrible people. It's just the opportunities that we have. But there are people that are dying because of these mistakes. When you take $1.9 million that could go to the healthcare sector in Liberia, that could produce more food, and you travel to South Korea to go hold lantern, people are dying. You know, we need to understand the seriousness about this thing. There are people in Liberia dying right now because this president is making mistakes. There are young people who should be getting help from drugs and addiction, but they can't because the people he appointed, they're putting their money aside. There are people who are supposed to be safe or would die tonight on motorbikes because someone at Ministry of Transport didn't do what they were supposed to do, right? There are people who are there were investments or aid money that's supposed to come into that, but I ain't coming because the foreign minister ain't doing what she's supposed to do. You don't carry the agricultural minister or you said I arrest, you're going to arrest people. You say we're going to do food. All of the people that are supposed to go speak on the sectors that you want to invest in, you don't carry them. You carry a bunch of legislators with you. So these are serious matters, and the president needs to understand. And Mr. Kamara, I know you're going off, but you need to start back in the day. And you tell him, call him, say, Papa, yeah, they think you're doing people dying. Our people dying. And it's serious. But thank you guys for the show. You know, I'm glad I'm back and look forward to next Sunday as well.
Thank you. Honorable Nangbe?
Yes, welcome back, Dr. Booty. It's good to have you back on. I hope Mr. C is also, doing okay well in Liberia. And this Patmo boy, you know, I knew he and I were not friends, but today really made me realize how much he doesn't like me. Every banner he put on this show today, he put it on my face. Yeah, I don't understand why he's blocking me. You know, when he come back on the show, we'll talk about this. But listen, great show. You know, we talked about the LDA. I think the president made the right call. I'd like Dr. Booty just said the same trivia, but there are people who are actually dying. This is a life and death for some of our compatriots, and so the sooner we remove all the extraneous, unnecessary squabbles, I think the better we will begin to serve our people. So I think that was a good call. The Ministry of Transport and the insurance and all of that, I think it is pretty clear now that policy, either they need to relaunch it or tweak it or go back to where they were. But I don't think it is attaining the intended, objective. Obviously people are not wearing helmets. If people cannot afford the insurance, I don't know where they're going to go with it. On the president's trip, I think we've already gone. Hopefully, something will come out that would have probably made it worth its while. But as far as we know, I don't see anything yet. The only thing I saw again, Mama ability, from what I saw, she was not even on the protocol, but she brought some 200, and I think she said 203 or 53 people because of that they stopped the president on the highway. This is how much power this lady has. Stop the president on the highway, stop the whole convoy, and brought him to say hi to these people, to this ability woman. So, for whatever it's worth, she's probably bringing a lot to the government or whatever it is. But they really want to be careful. I think there's just so much influence being brought to the table by one person. So the trade, But anyway, again, thank you very much for the opportunity. Whenever we come here, like I said, I leave with something new. Even from Mr. Kamara, who's not here right now.
He's watching.
He's watching. But thank you very much for the show. Thanks to our viewers as well.
Thank you. And that is Mr. Nangwe. He's our political analyst and a host of Friday Night Debate. Mr. Eastman, take us out.
Yes, it was a good show. There were many points made, and one thing is clear though. We expect a lot out of this administration, and we appear not satisfied with what's been done. We know very well that there are certain fundamental investments that have to be made before the country begins on a sustainable development path. And we would have expected that the administration, the President Buckeye, with his wealth of knowledge, would have come up with a path, with a plan that could be followed for generations to come. None of that is being done. It is apparent that this 6 years will not prove very much in development. But what more about this administration is we see new power blocks emerging, and we don't know where Liberia is coming. It will go, but these power blocks that are emerging, they are emerging for their selfish interests. I think what we need to do is to bring awareness to the Liberian people of what these people are doing. For instance, the other day, the Ghana sent deported several Liberians. What is happening with those Liberians? Some of them are laying on pallets, I understand, out in the wilderness. There's nothing being done to take care of them. We have to show our people that these politicians do not care about us, and force them to do things about the livelihoods of Liberian people. We have to shame them. We have to continually badger them. Let them at least address some issues of Liberian people. They can go on their trips. That's not our problem. The problem is we have people at home, just like Ms. Dr. Boudio said, dying, and they're not doing anything about it. We have to bring them to point. That's all we can do right now. But this administration, we're not going very far right now.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, at 7 o'clock, that's in about 40 minutes or so, Dennis Jar is going to be hosting, I think, a weekly SP PhD. He's an agricultural scientist. He's coming with advancing the solution for Liberia food insecurity. That is the topic for this afternoon. Y'all should tune in. Solutions for Liberia food insecurity. That is from a man who not only have a degree, but is doing the research and major corporations. He's in the field. He has done it. He's been there. We need to tune in and listen. And if somebody, Mr. Kamara and the Waka people are listening, these are people who are not partisans. They don't have anything to grind within politics. They are just qualified to do the work. These are the folks. Even if you got your homeboy there as Minister of Agriculture, he doesn't have the requisite experience. People like these can come in as consultants to boost him, make him look good. These people do not want to be in the front. They want to work from behind the scene. They get paid. They don't want a name or anything. If you recognize them, fine. But their job is to make the agriculture minister look good. So if you are listening, these are the kind of folks. It's coming on 7 o'clock. If you have the time, tune in. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. Mr. Nangwe, thank you very much for your input. Dr. Booty, thank you very much. I know the time over there. The European Union just had an election. I see France is upside down. They're calling for re-election because their party lost a lot. Mr. Elvis, thank you very much. Dr. Tower, thank you very much. Mr. Eastman, thank you. And I want to say a special thank you to my Floridian. Can you imagine? The Florida Panthers, the guy from the hottest state in the country, is beating everybody from the north and the northeast in hockey. We are in the hockey finals. And last night we destroyed the Edmonton Oilers from Canada. Deep Canada, the coldest place. We beat them 3-0. Can you imagine? Someone said we brought the heat melted the ice. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I go tune in and watch some of the basketball tonight. Hopefully Dallas can pull up one. Thank you very much. As always, we say, Mr. Eastman, you want to take us out with our song?
Yes, as always, we say, no matter who, no matter where you are, no matter where your policy or your party, definitely we are all always will be Liberians.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home. Liberian people. USA, all we want. Liberia, USA, all we want. Liberia, Liberia.